We have been all over the place. I love it. Are there other questions? You guys are doing great. Actually, we have about 10 more minutes. I'll check to see if there's any other questions. If not, let's actually do a little light recap of what we did, because we were all over the place today. Probably deeper than some of you guys have maybe potentially ever been. And it was some new territory. So hopefully you're not like, oh my goodness, Do what happens, okay? If you can record what happens, record the story as it really happens, okay? If your right hand does something, record it. If your left hand does something, record it, okay? All of a sudden, you've got the picture. And if you have to do a little light little tweaks to kind of connect them, that's teeny. But if you are like putting your hands behind your back and hoping to get something out of that, you have no clue. Record the story. Record the story. That's the hugest piece of the puzzle. Literally, this is what we're looking at. The story is potentially more important than the numbers and the different things like that, okay? Record the story. If you're using FlexGrid to record the story, great. If you're using your players to record the story, great. If you're using histories, great, 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 great. Those are all kind of things that will help record that story. Awesome. Shannon, are there any other questions?
No, there are not.
Okay.
Oh, yes, there are.
Great, great, great.
Do you have an Excel or other template for new customers to input inventory items and counts into Adilas?
Okay, that's a great question. And who has this question?
Joe.
Okay, perfect, perfect. So what happens, that was a great question. And the question was, do we have like a little format so how they can get this kind of stuff in here? Here's what ends up happening, okay? So say you have an existing customer. They've been running for years and years and years and years. They have different systems, potentially 4 or 5 different systems that they're trying to marry together, okay? Well, all of that data is not native to Adilas, okay? If you want us to load your inventory pool, we have no problem. What you do is you would create an Excel spreadsheet and you would send it to us, or a rep would get it, and we could migrate it in for you through this channel. We don't ever want to just dump it in here because all of a sudden that throws off the channel, okay? And so the answer is yes, we do custom imports, okay? Get us your data however it looks, and if you wanted a specific format, you can let us know and we can tell you what we would prefer. If you're an Adilas user or an Adilas rep, you could easily go like this. You could say, let me tell you possible fields that they have. You could go right here. Go to any PO or any item. Let's go grab a SKU number and let's go see what I have under gift. I know we have that. And I'm going to go clear to the edit level. And you could go to them. Looks like you could have a vendor, a part number, a category, a description, a reference number, a cost, possibly a markup if you want. Do you want a unit of measurement? Like, this is how I would do it, okay? This is literally the fields that we have per item. Now, when we get items, sometimes we'll get a part number, a description, a cost, and a price. That's only 4 out of these fields, but guess what? I can then migrate that. No problem, okay? Okay, here's what my mapping is going to be. But every single system is different. So is there a standard? There kind of is. These are the fields that we can hold, but there's not necessarily a standard that they have to comply to. If they pull it out of QuickBooks, great. If they pull it out of Great Western, great. They pull it out of Microsoft Money, great. Send it to us, and what we do is if it looks terrible, we'll actually say, whoa, we're going to have to comb this a little bit. So it's not going to fit. You're literally trying to force the wrong thing in. We would pay somebody who's at the $15 an hour or whatever like that. Here, help us comb this data. Let's get it standardized so we can get it in. We can handle all sorts of conversions between uppercase, lowercase, mixed. That's easy. We can do that automatic, okay? But if it's random junk values and we're trying to force it into Adilas, we're not going to let random junk values come in. We're going to do what's called combing it, which basically means, okay, cool, now I know how I can play. We do that for customers. We do it for parts. We do it for vendors. As far as the actual accounts, if he's talking like expense types and deposit types, you literally, it's faster to actually go right in here and set up your little account types. Boom, 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 boom. Because you're not going to really have that many. How many do you have? How many? Like even today, we had a Word document and we totally skipped off of it. Okay, we had, say you had triple this, okay, or quadruple this. That's 20, that's 30. Hammer it in, hammer it in, hammer it in. You don't want to pay a developer $100 an hour to pull in your little teeny accounts. Like, I guarantee you most people don't have any more than 100, okay? And if you have less than 100 items, I wouldn't even talk migration. You have multiple hundreds, you have thousands, you have 15, 20,000 items. Okay, that's going to save you some major time. We can help you migrate that, okay? Boom, it's probably going to be about $100, $200, and we can get all of that migrated right in there, okay? No problem. That's what I would answer. Customers are great, log notes are great, parts are great, even vendors are potentially great. Some of the other pieces, it's faster to enter it through Adilas through the main flow. Okay, great.
And Tanya had just a summary almost of the day. She said, I'm hearing that to get the most out of Adilas, transparency and detail in telling the story is key.
Absolutely, that's a great comment. That's a great comment. Like, this is literally paradigm shifting, okay? Instead of worrying about debits and credits and where did I put this and where did I put this, this is what I would say, okay? The heart of Adilas, an object which contains data, and then we run it over time and we check to see where it's at and we map to it. This is going to tell your story more than a potential T account that has a debit and a credit. Because that debit and credit is going to have 500 and 500, and you're going to wonder, like, where in the heck is that 500 from, okay? But if I have an object that's physically carrying its own pieces, that is what I want at the end of the day. And just so you know, objects and data, we haven't even talked about this little particular object lesson. Guess what our objects can contain? Tons and tons of stuff. Did you hear us use the word main today on an object? So this is a single object, this whole plate here, okay? This whole plate is a single object. What can we stack inside of this? We've got the main information. Did we see anything that had line items today? Tons of stuff. Potentially a one-to-many relationship, okay? Did we see anything that had payments today? Okay, say an invoice with multiple payments. Say an expense receipt with multiple payments. Say a PO with multiple payments. Okay, these are different things that objects can hold. System history. Did we check any system histories today? We did. That's another little piece. This is how we can create objects in this kind of stuff. Did we use any FlexGrid? Joe wanted us to use some FlexGrid. We had some funky stuff going on with paying for this but not paying for this, and this potentially over here. We used a little bit of FlexGrid on that, okay? Not required, but totally optional, as many as we want. Special subs and relationships. Did we connect customers to invoices and vendors to POs, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera? And like, there's a bunch of different little custom things. Special relationships. We're building a balance sheet item, and I'm connecting it to a deposit because this is the deposit that I got from my investment. That's a special relationship between a balance sheet item and a deposit, or a deposit and an invoice, and like, we have tons of little special relationships. Did we do any photos or scans today? We did, actually. We had a check, and we did some checks. We added some photos and scans. We looked at some other ones that were on some POs. They were just funny little pictures. These are things that you can attach to items. These are totally things that you can attach to items. Custom documents. Did we do anything on that? We didn't probably do anything on these two things at all today. But these are other potential things that items can hold in a one-to-many relationship. So instead of just having a single cup, maybe I have 20 line items. Do you see how that would be an object that creates an object? Okay, it's kind of cool. It's kind of cool. Anyway, those are kind of some of the things that I would say on that little level. Shannon, are there any other questions? Those are great questions, by the way.
Yeah, not any that have come in, but
Okay,
you just asked, so we can see.
Okay, perfect. While any other questions are coming in, Cheryl, I'd like to give you just a second, if you will, and kind of say, what did we do today, and what did we kind of, just a little light recap, or something that you thought stuck out, or you're like, oh man, I'm going to start putting my freight on my items for your particular stuff.
Well, I think before we've always talked about selling something or bringing something in, and now we really completed that cycle by saying, okay, now that we have the money in, or now that we've sold something, how do we finish the process so that it ends up being something that will appear on a profit loss statement that kind of shows us the heartbeat of the business, or if we need to go into the bank, how we make a balance sheet so we can show them where we are right here.
Correct, correct. So really quick, let me ask you just this small little comment really quick. If we're looking at a map really quick, what can you tell me about these two little items? P&L, income statement. What can you tell me about that? What did we learn?
Okay, so you said the profit and loss is actually the heartbeat, the pulse of the business.
Correct.
And it extends over a period of time, where the balance sheet is strictly a snapshot of what it is today.
Correct, correct. That is perfect. That's perfect, okay? And the balance sheet, we can technically run it back, but it would make this run back as well according to that time frame that's happening, okay? This feeds this automatically. It's called net profit. Automatically gets pulled into here under the equity section, okay? And we kind of looked at that multiple times on our little other window that we had that was right here, okay? Remember how it automatically fed it in? I'm going to kind of switch gears so I have the correct tools. Net profit from the P&L, okay? It automatically feeds in to that portion. That's how they're connected.
Balance sheet, we also learned, was about 3/4 automatically done or system updated, where there are a few things we may have to manually load.
Correct. And just really quick, watch this. I love that comment. Balance sheet, watch the difference here when I pull it, okay? Get me the values. Look at all these things that are under the system maintained pieces of it, okay? System generated. Look at these little guys, little teeny things that have small little values and maybe a couple little line items, okay? These were special. Sales tax, gift cards, we had an investment, retained earnings. These are simple little things. If you're talking a target, guess what? We're hitting the target, we're hitting the target, we're hitting the target. Way down at the teeniest level, you may not be there very often. That sounds like a balance sheet item, okay? But if you're hitting the target and it's a constant flow, we're hitting it, we're hitting it, we're hitting it, okay? Perfect, love it. Those are great comments. Anything else that you wanted to comment on that particular piece of the puzzle?
Nope, I don't think so.
Okay, great, great. Awesome. Shannon, how about you?
Did you want me to comment on something specific?
No, just kind of a comment for the day. We're kind of just wrapping up the day a little bit.
I loved it. It was great. I learned a lot today. I really have not done much with income statement or balance sheet. I have no background in accounting, and I think I could generally try to ascertain what they mean, but I have never worked with them. So I learned a lot today, and it was great.
Awesome. So here's kind of a little challenge, okay? The standard terms that we use that are used in typical accounting are income statement, P&L, and balance sheet. Guess what we did not use today? Debit, credit, chart of accounts, T accounts. We didn't use any of those terms, and we've been dealing all day today in balance sheet stuff. Yeah. Shannon, do you have any other comments?
It just makes so much sense. I love, like we kind of discussed before, when you follow it this way, it's logical and it makes sense, and it's so much easier to understand, I feel like. And there are some comments. Joe said, awesome job, Brandon, and thanks. He's going to check out, but he'll see you at next month's seminar.
Awesome, awesome. Sounds good, sounds good. Let's go ahead and close it up, and thank you. That was awesome. Good stuff.